Yay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Wisdom Wednesday, a very special Wisdom Wednesday. My name is Robin Finney. I'm your Oracle Intuitive and Authenticity Guide. And I asked Davia if we could go live together because there's this collective energy and this message that keeps appearing in many different spaces. And so I know the energy of this message is very high for all of us in the collective. So I wanted to share about it, but I was present too. It was really cool. So with Oracle cards, one of the really beautiful parts is I always say it's a mirror reflecting back to you what you already know inside. And then there's also times when it's many people, like there's an energy with the messages where it just spreads from person to person. And so that's when I know it's like, okay, there's something going on in the collective, like the greater whole for all of us to look at. And so I think it was 2 days ago, Davia, you had messaged a group of us and were sharing that you had pulled the Conscious Connections card, which is this one right here. And so I saw this and I was like, oh yeah, that's a great message. And then yesterday I was talking to one of my friends and her coach had pulled that card in her morning routine. And she reached out to my friend and she said, hey, I checked in with spirit and this message came up and I got a hit that it was for you. And so we're talking. And then when I got off the phone with her, I tuned in to the Sacred Rebels. And of course, the message that came up was the Conscious Connections. So it's a really powerful message. And so I'm going to read it. And then I want to have Davia share more about this because she is the collaboration queen. And really it just invites us all into that energy. And so that's what this message is really, really calling us all in and inviting us. So I invite you, if you're watching live or catching the replay, to really hear for yourself what this message has for us and has for you individually and collectively. So this message is all about a call for more intimacy in your immediate relationships. There's an opening for heart-to-heart communication that can salvage and restore a broken relationship or friendship if you are willing to honor your differences and look to what unites you. Sometimes it's hard to bear the differences between another. One person may be willing to live life in high definition, whilst another may prefer to live it more vicariously until they have the confidence to step out onto center stage of their own life story. We are not here to judge each other, just to love, to be loved, and to let go of those that cannot accept us as we open up to those that can. This oracle brings you guidance for you to trust in the sanctity of the connections in your life. If you have asked to experience a more sacred connection with people who truly get you and want to play life with you rather than at odds with or against you, then this oracle is confirmation that this manifestation is on its way to you now. It may or may not be obvious at first, but kindred spirits are going to enter your life to help you connect with deeper feelings and creativity. They will give wings to your inspirational ideas and big dreams. And if you've been asking for healing in your current friendships or other immediate relationships, know that this can happen through your willingness to express your true feelings and allow the situation to either fall apart or come together according to the greater workings of life. Sometimes webs that have joined people together are broken, and that is appropriate as people may outgrow what once held them together. Sometimes the ties that bind us together are so strong that they are able to withstand a great deal of pressure and still remain intact. The webs of connection between us will sever or sustain based on the higher wisdom of life itself. Either way, healing happens in the resolution of our feelings, and we are once again able to feel free, forgive, and be ready to move on to the next stage of relating, either with a person who has been in connection with us for a time or with someone new. This oracle asks you to remain open to healing connections and to allow people to be close to you. Trust in the process that draws people in and out of your life. Resist nothing and seek wisdom in all. So this message is it's so potent and really aligned with everything you talk about with Grow Smarter. And I would love to hear, Davia, from your wisdom and what's showing up for you around this message, and specifically around the place that it talks about that kindred spirits are going to enter your life to help you connect with your deeper feelings and creativity. And they will give you wings to your inspirational ideas and big dreams.
Oh my goodness. It gives me like tinglies all over just hearing that, because you know how we talk about the mastermind, or how I prefer to frame it, the goddess mind. You know, when we get together, we have this really outstanding opportunity to bring thought to where it has never been before. We're able to call in so much wisdom that you by yourself might not have been able to access, or me by myself. But when we get together, it's like that new math where 1 + 1 is greater than 2. It's so profound. And a lot of people hear me talk about this all the time, and they're like, oh, that's just crazy, Dr. Davia, talking about collaboration again, because I am so one note in all of this. I'm always talking about how when we come together, when we share when we pool our creative talents, how much more we get out of it. Everybody wins. You win, your partner wins, the end user client wins because they get a way more robust experience. And guess what else happens? The greater good wins, because we are, when we come together collectively, raising the vibration of the planet. So I wasn't surprised to pull this card. I was just surprised that it showed up so frequently, but then I shouldn't be, because I'm always talking about collaboration and connecting more than on that surface level, but more conscious connections, as the card talks about, connecting at that heart level, which is so much more meaningful. And that's one of the things that I am all about. I was talking to one of our Ladies Power Lunch members, Wendy Lee. I was just talking to her on the Ladies Power Lunch TV show yesterday. And the conclusion that we came to is that, you know what, we've had enough of those surface level conversations. We're good. We're okay for that. And we're ready to dive deep with people, to actually really open up and let people in and to get to know people. We talk about that know, like, and trust factor when we're talking about doing business with other people. And one of our members, Cami Gilner, she likes to say, it's not just know, like, and trust, it's know, love, and trust. Like when you really, Robin, I love you so much. And if there's somebody out there who needs something that has to do with travel, or it has something to do with oracle cards or something like that, you're the first person that's going to come to my mind. And I am going to defend the position of you supporting them so fervently, because I know you so deeply and I love you so much. That's going to be really different from somebody with whom I have that surface level connection. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yes. And that's like, I think that's where that kindred spirit energy comes in. And those, when it's a conscious connection, because we can connect with many people, but not every connection is going to be aligned. And it's when we can really find those people who can, it's like we just align, our gifts, our magic aligns. And I've had so many incredible collaborations out of this group. Because it's like the heart, like you were talking about, it's like heart centered, and it's like at the heart of what we're wanting to create is aligned. And it's when we can step into that. And I think sometimes people may be a little hesitant or timid in stepping into connections because maybe they have been burned in the past, or they've
They
been with
do have
people.
some PTSD around that. I mean,
Yeah.
we all have had relationships that have not turned out the way that we might have expected. We all have people who have had their own trauma, and as a result, they brought that into the relationships that they've had with us, and it's not been the most positive. But what would happen if that was just part of the learning experience and we didn't
Yeah.
use that to color the next set of connections that we develop?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, because when we're all stepping into like really, because I call myself an authenticity guide, because I create all of, no matter whether you're traveling and going on an experience with me, or I'm planning a trip for you in that realm, or you're going through my Oracle course or doing an Oracle session, it's all centered around owning your authentic self. And I think when we can all like show up authentically and owning who we are, then we are already in a higher vibration. And it's in that space that we are going to attract to those who are also in that higher vibration.
Yes, I agree. I love the part of the card where it says, this oracle asks you to remain open to healing connections and to allow people to be close to you. Trust in the process that draws people in and out of your life, right? So it's it's interesting because it's not like you're collecting a collection of friends, as it were. It's like people are coming and people are going, and it's asking you to resist nothing and to learn from every one
Yeah.
of these experiences. And I think that's where the value is. One of my favorite mentors, Dr. Deepak Chopra, he always likes to remind us to remain detached from
Yeah.
any kind of outcome. And I think when it comes to making conscious connections, one of the things that we can remember is that the all the connections, they're here for the experience of it. So I had a connection, I'll give you an example. I had a connection with somebody some time ago, and it was really robust. It was a lovely connection. And that person and I, we're not really that close now. Whereas over the course of perhaps a month, I would say, there wasn't even a day that we didn't talk to each other. And now, not so much. But here's what happened. That person introduced me to somebody else who has become like just so important to the business that I am in right now, which is cultivating community and helping small business owners and women in business to amplify their visibility. So I wouldn't have met that person if it wasn't for that absolutely loving connection that I made with this one woman. And we were having conversation. I remember being on a Saturday, I'm folding laundry and talking to her on the phone. Like I never do that, you know. Usually I'm pretty lined up with my things. And she came in, she served the greater good in the way that she was meant to introduce me to this other amazing person. I know she's still a friend, but we're not as connected as always as we were before, and it's okay. It's all just a part of the experience. I'm sure you have examples like that as well that you could share.
Yeah, and I think that's part of it. It's like the seasons. And I was sharing this in another group this morning, and I'm attending an event tomorrow. Amber Sweener, or some of you may know her. Her new book Unleashed just came out, and so I'm going to her event tomorrow night, which is really exciting. And so we were kind of setting the container around that and what that looks like and what people can get when they show up and network with others. And this is for any setting, whether you're in person with someone or you're coming on into this group and you are showing up virtually. And it's like connecting, like I think is it in a couple of weeks, the monthly networking meeting with Ladies Power Lunch is coming up. And so it's like setting an intention around that. And one thing I say when I'm traveling, and it applies so much to these experiences as well, and these conscious connections, is some people you meet for a day, some people you meet for life, and not one is greater than the other. And what I love about that is it's exactly what you shared, where we all have people who have come into our lives and they're there for maybe a season. And from that season, there was something that was very valuable and it planted a seed. And then from that, maybe we both grew and went into different directions. But it doesn't take away from the fact that where when they came into our lives, it was super valuable. And now we're just like in different spaces. So I think that's the beauty of a conscious connection, is it's planting seeds, and some people are going to come along with you, and some maybe they're just there for that time.
The other thing that stands out for me with this card is the piece about, it may or may not be obvious at first, but kindred spirits are going to enter your life to help you connect with your deeper feelings and creativity. They will give wings to your inspirational ideas and big dreams. I just got off a little while ago off a call with one of our clients, and oh my goodness, the amazing ideas that just kept pouring out. I mean, her creativity and my creativity. And when you're able to put all, if I was sitting here in the office alone, I'm pretty sure a lot of those ideas that we just birthed, which are amazing ideas, I probably wouldn't have come up with them. But there is something that happens when we all fit together like little puzzle pieces that unlocks something even bigger and grander. And so I am encouraging every single day. I tell people all the time, you don't have to do any kind of work with me. Just go find a friend. Just go connect with somebody. Just go find a friend, connect with somebody in that aligned way, in that deeper way, and see what shows up.
Yeah. And it's, yes, I love that. And I think it's that invitation as well to know that we're not meant to do it all on our own. And as business owners, especially, like there are times when we're starting out, when we're wearing all the hats, and we reach a point where we're like, okay, just because I can wear all the hats doesn't mean I'm necessarily meant to. Like, where can I really focus on my genius, and then invite in others who this area is their genius? And that's what I love with your visibility program that you have, is like you're really inviting people in to work with these amazing leaders, and that you heart-centered, soul-centered leaders that you've brought in who are supporting them and like really expanding their mission and being more visible in the world. Because that's what we need, really, is we need these conscious, all of us, these conscious connections, conscious leaders, to be more visible.
Yeah, I'm even gonna go so far as to say, Robin, that I know people, when they think of me, they think collaboration, and they think that that's really what my deal is. I'm going to break it to you. Big secret. Don't tell anybody, but you heard it here first, guys. My real mission is to ensure that the voice of the heart-centered entrepreneur, that passionate entrepreneur, that passionate small business person who wants to make a difference, that her voice becomes part of the bigger, greater national conversation. Because you look out there and you tell me if you're hearing this soft-spoken voice of peace and calm and love, or if you're hearing something else. And what I have noticed is that you're hearing something else. So my job, as I see it, is for us to make those connections so that we can be more visible. Because the way that we get visible is not in the 3-second sound bites, guys. That's not the way that we get visible at all. The way that we get visible is through the heart-centered connections. And that kind of visibility is priceless.
Yes, it is. It absolutely is. And that's, I mean, all the connections I've had out of this group, it's been that way, because we see each other through that lens, and then we're able to find ways to speak to both of our gifts, so that we're all contributing from that space and doing the things that light us up rather than doing the things that don't.
Beautiful. I love that. And it's a beautiful card too. I like it. The visual of it is very, very pretty.
Yes. Yeah, and we can post, you posted it, I know you posted it this morning, and we can post it in the thread with this group, so that you can, I always invite, like in the Oracle course, I'll always invite people my students to really study the image and look at it and see, just kind of develop your own intuitive sense and meaning around it. And then from there, dive into the message and then really listen for yourself, like how the message is speaking to you. And then create a few takeaways for yourself so that you're really like stepping into it and embodying the message so that it will show up more fully.
I think each time I pulled the card, it's like I got a different perspective from the card. Because I think one time when I pulled it, I was really, really focused on the fact that people come and they go, and that's okay, and not to
Mhm.
have any attachment around it. And then another time that I pulled it, I was really focused on the fact that when we get together, that it is that heart-centered connection that increases our creativity and allows for new thought to be birthed. So I think there's always opportunity to go back to the message and look at it again and
Yeah.
see what it's speaking into your life.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's different phases. So we may get the same message again and again over the years. And then it can show up differently. Or in your case, you can get the same message back to back within days of each other. And
Within
each time it
days.
could be an invitation to, okay, what is it this time? What's really speaking to me with the message? Or what am I not seeing? And then inviting that message to show up in your life.
Absolutely. Wow. Well, that was great.
Yeah. Well, thank you for letting me pop in. I figured like as soon as I heard, like when you had sent that, and then when I heard like a couple other people had pulled it and then I pulled it myself, I was like, okay, there's something definitely here collectively.
I
So,
think my invitation to everybody would be, and like you suggested, I'll make sure to post the information so that people can connect with it. But what I would say is I would love to hear what other people are getting from this card and whether it's alive for them in this moment in the way that it is for you and me. Because if
yeah,
so many people are pulling the same card at the same time, then there is a collective message that we all need to be tuning into.
yeah,
And is the collective message that there is an opportunity for us all to really try to connect better with each other? Is that
mhm,
what, the universe is trying to tell us? Who
yeah,
knows? I'd love to hear everybody's
yeah, me
feedback. It would
too.
be really interesting to hear what everybody has to say. All right. Well, if you had any questions or comments or anything, I invite everybody to just post in the chat. And otherwise, I'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.